putting this event together tonight. We have quite a few board members here this evening, and my wonderful staff, Donna and Phil Rinaldi. Phil is an honorary member of the staff. And of course, Melissa Launder is back there. Zach is not here tonight. That's sad. Zach is another honorary member of the chamber. Melissa's husband is one of our biggest volunteers. Cameron Toll is our communications specialist, so if you follow us on social media, that's Cam's great work. And our newest staff member is Hope Anderson. She is a recent graduate of UNH, yes, and she's put this whole event together, so thank you to all of them. So I am reading this on behalf of Tony Wold, who is the sponsor of the award. Tony owns the Closet Connection, and he couldn't be here tonight because actually he's just too busy. His work is going well, and that's what we love to hear at the Chamber of Commerce. But when I asked him if he was interested in sponsoring this award, I've never gotten such a fast response to an email from a sponsorship request in my 3.5 years with the Chamber. He said, absolutely. So I'm going to read to you Tony's words this evening. It is my profound honor to present the inaugural Chamber Community Arts Champion Award to Rebecca Proctor of the Arts Center. The Arts Center is an elegant buffet of creativity offering eclectic choices for us all to sample. If you haven't been by lately, either in person or virtually, I urge you to survey the artist studios and the printmaking program. The mission of the Arts Center is to significantly promote the creation, display, and sale of artwork to residents, members, and community partners while educating and fostering cultural awareness. Thanks to Rebecca's own unique creativity and her tireless efforts, this mission is continually being fulfilled via innovation and an ever-expanding association. Many in this room are familiar with the success of business incubators. Well, Rebecca has created a powerful art incubator with a significant footprint that touches and influences the lives of both adults and children. It is said that we should live for ideas, not things. And while you can touch art in its various forms, it is ultimately about the creativity it represents, with said creativity being, for many of us, both alluring and elusive. For me, Rebecca, what you are doing at the Arts Center functions as an antidote to those days when the world seems upside down. Thank you for your work, Rebecca, work that enriches our community, and congratulations for being selected as our first ever Dover Chamber Community Arts Champion. And thank you to Tony Wold of the Closet Connection for his eloquent words. And I would just like to add that, Rebecca, you pack a lot of energy and enthusiasm into a very small package. I'm in awe of what you do. And I also want to thank you for welcoming me into your arts community. You are such a gracious, gracious hostess and a true champion of the arts. Would you please join me up here to accept your award?
So I want to thank the Chamber and all my sponsors. I have several of them, and I want to actually thank my artist and the community, the Dover community, to being here for me since I've been in Dover for 30 years, and New Hampshire. It's like the community has made me what I am today. And I just have a brief speech. Thank you so much.
We have one more award to present tonight. It is an exciting one. At this time, I would like to invite Michael Bolduc, a partner at Weiskell, Bock, What's his name? That guy, that other guy. Weiskell, Bach, Tillinghast, and Boldick, PA, to the podium for this special presentation. Mike presenting the award sponsor, First Seacoast Bank.
Thank you, Don. Good evening. I'm pleased to present this Community Impact Award on behalf of First Seacoast Bank, where I have served on the board of directors for over 10 years. I also serve, coincidentally, on the board of trustees of Wentworth-Douglass Hospital, and it gives me great pride to represent these two strong organizations that continue to make a positive impact on our community. Tonight, I have the distinct privilege of paying tribute to Wentworth-Douglass Hospital and its 116-year history of compassionate care and innovation. This care and innovation was truly put to the test over the past 2 years as our community, our country, and indeed the world battled an unprecedented healthcare event. COVID-19 necessitated rapid and drastic changes to Wentworth-Douglass Hospital's operations. The teamwork, ingenuity, and dedication demonstrated by Wentworth-Douglass Hospital to best care for the community was exemplary. The hospital brought together a wide range of experts to provide optimal service and ensure the best possible outcomes for its patients. Some of the solutions implemented by Wentworth-Douglass during the pandemic include opening a respiratory illness clinic in a tent outside the emergency department. Nurses triaged patients outside the main hospital, which allowed for improved infection prevention for staff, patients, and the community. The hospital's emergency department educated themselves about COVID, developing protocols and putting them into practice. Wentworth-Douglass Hospital initiated a COVID drive-through clinic, which proved to be the safest, most efficient method for COVID patient testing. This drive-through not only served Wentworth-Douglass patients, it also acted as a state-sanctioned testing site for the community until June of 2021, completing more than 92,000 swabs. Wentworth-Douglass's dedicated nursing staff personally called each patient with a positive COVID-19 test result to offer support and education, even on holidays and weekends. The hospital also instituted a COVID nurse navigator position to assist in preventing readmission for COVID positive patients by offering follow-up care and patient monitoring. The pandemic forced Wentworth-Douglass Hospital, like all healthcare organizations nationwide, to respond to the rapidly increasing challenge of a shortage of healthcare workers. Wentworth-Douglass quickly established a multi-department labor pool for both clinical and non-clinical roles, featuring a rapid assessment of who was qualified to work in what areas and under what licenses. The hospital also managed the assignment of both New Hampshire National Guardsmen and FEMA paramedics who offered assistance during the height of the pandemic. Throughout the pandemic, Wentworth-Douglass Hospital served as an information resource for the community. Dr. Artemio Mendoza, an infectious disease specialist, and Martha Wassall, who I believe is here tonight, Director of Infection Prevention, conducted countless interviews with media outlets across the region to educate the public on the pandemic. The hospital established a nurse-run hotline to address questions and concerns from all community members. Wentworth-Douglass consistently offered transparent publishing of COVID numbers and safety guidelines and provided media unprecedented access inside the hospital to expose the community to the realities of the pandemic. While coping with more than 1,000 inpatient COVID-19 admissions to date, Wentworth-Douglass Hospital enhanced and expanded programs and services in collaboration with Massachusetts General Hospital. This partnership brought more subspecialty pediatric care to to the community and strengthened the hospital's neonatal program in an effort to keep care local. Our recent additions include epilepsy monitoring unit and a liver transplant outreach clinic. And if leading a community through a pandemic wasn't enough, Wentworth-Douglass continued to receive accolades and honors in several areas. In September of 2021, Wentworth-Douglass Hospital achieved magnet accreditation from the American Nurses Credentialing Center, one of only 3 healthcare facilities in the state to earn the distinction, and among less than 9% of hospitals nationwide. Newsweek magazine named Wentworth-Douglass Hospital among the best hospitals in the United States, jumping 26 spots from its ranking of 217th in 2021. Wentworth-Douglass Hospital was the only hospital on the Seacoast to make the list. U.S. News and World Report named Wentworth-Douglass Hospital among the best hospitals for maternity, and the Lown Institute ranked Wentworth-Douglass first in patient outcomes among 23 hospitals in New Hampshire, and remarkably, 16th among more than 3,000 hospitals that were examined nationwide. Wentworth-Douglass Hospital won Best Hospital in the Best of the Seacoast Awards and was also voted Best Emergency Room, Best Place to Have a Baby, and Best Urgent Care Facility. On a personal note, I think we all witnessed as members of the community what took place on the outside of Wentworth-Douglass during the pandemic, where they changed whole areas of the hospital to account for a surge that luckily we did not see like other areas. I witnessed what happened on the inside, the compassion and professionalism of the leadership, the administration, and the care providers, and it was remarkable. For these reasons and so many more, Wentworth-Douglass Hospital is incredibly deserving of this honor tonight. In addition to the framed Susan E. Hanna print, the Greater Dover Chamber of Commerce would like to present Wentworth-Douglass Hospital with a series of 4 original paintings by local artist Danielle Festa, who is here with us this evening. These paintings are part of Miss Festa's Mask Yourself series.
Our universal relationship to textiles has driven my artistic path for the last 15 years. We all make decisions about the clothes we wear that define our persona. Now globally, we are all asked to incorporate a face covering, and when it comes to my conceptual body of work, that cannot be ignored. In each of my works, I experiment with the transition between traditional oil painting and the mixed media introduction of fabric. The Mask Yourself series focuses on the addition of a small piece of fabric that is connecting the world, strengthening our fight against an invisible enemy, but at the same time making us feel different. I want to emphasize the opportunity for self-expression, strength, and unity that a face mask can represent. I want to highlight the importance of this moment, where part of our fashion is combating a world crisis together.
I would be honored if Wentworth-Douglass President and CEO Jeff Hughes would join me to accept the Community Impact Award on behalf of your talented and dedicated team.
So I'm truly humbled and really overwhelmed by this. It's much more than I expected. When I found out that we were going to get this award, I said to Margaret, I reached out to Margaret this week, I said, Margaret, I'm just going to say a couple words and just say thank you and leave. And she goes, no, they want to hear from you. So a couple things. One is I look around this room, and this room is filled with friends and help. And we don't do what we do alone. So let me talk a little bit about our community hospital and what that means. I've got over 40 years of experience working with nonprofit healthcare organizations, mostly hospitals, working with. And there's something special about a community hospital. There's something special about Wentworth-Douglass, and that is this connection to the community. We take our mission very seriously, and that is really to meet the healthcare needs of our community. And we don't do that alone. Every 3 years, we undertake a thorough assessment of the healthcare needs of the community. We reach out, we partner with social service agencies, Hope on Haven Hill, CAP, and others to understand what are the needs of the community. What can we do to help support the needs to improve the overall health of our community? You know, examples of the outcome of that kind of work is the creation of the dental center, treating those individuals that could not afford dental care, but dental care was so vital to their overall health, and also vital, as it turned out, to their ability to have surgeries for other things, because if they had a dental infection, it would affect their outcome. We also use it, too, to create the Caravan program, which is a program that we set up to bring those individuals that cannot afford transportation or are not able physically transportation to get to needed medical appointments. And also through that program, we have an extensive community benefit program where we, on a limited basis, give grants to local partners in healthcare and social services. And we also, through that program, jumped into behavioral health services several years ago and began to grow and expand those services in really response to the needs in our community. And I want to thank the governor that's sitting over there. The governor's initiative in mental health and his creation of the doorway was instrumental in terms of helping us reach out and dealing with individuals with addiction services. So we are one of 9 across the state of New Hampshire that now has this service. And we serve a broad geography, greater than what our primary service area was, but now is growing as people come to us seeking care. So as I think about Wentworth-Douglass and about this award, and I think about the pandemic that we went through, you know, my background is a little bit different. I don't have a degree in business. I actually have a degree in public health. And in my years in healthcare, I never thought we'd be in a pandemic. But lo and behold, the past 2.5 years have really been unprecedented in terms of what we have faced as providers. We've all done different jobs that we never thought we'd ever have to do. And I have an amazing team. I want to really thank the First Seacoast Bank. I want to thank the Dover Chamber of Commerce. And really, I want to recognize at least a couple individuals here in the room who are just examples of what an organization of over 3,500 very talented and very dedicated people can do. So let me have a couple people stand up. So let me start with Doctors Bill and Ginny Hassett. They're primary care physicians. Please stand up. So when COVID first broke and we were trying to figure out how do we begin to triage patients, how do we begin to test patients, and how do we do it in a meaningful way? And I think it was mentioned earlier that we had this tent set up in the parking lot of the emergency room. Well, Bill and Ginny were the first to step up and say, how can we help? And they helped volunteer triaging those patients, testing those patients, putting on all of the protective PPE to really deal with those patients hands-on and give dedicated care. It was just absolutely amazing. Next, we go to Dr. Nancy Pettinari. Nancy Pettinari is the medical director of Wentworth Health Partners, which is our physician group. So Nancy not only provided medical leadership and stability for our organization, but actually she was at my side day in and day out, and actually rotated with me along with 2 other members of senior management as incident commanders in this 2.5-year-long pandemic that we were in. And I can't thank Nancy for her steady leadership, her thoughtfulness, and her dedication to get us through this. And then Martha Wassel, please stand up. So Martha and I are kindred spirits in that we both have degrees in public health. But of course, I have no hope that I have any amount of knowledge that Martha has. I've probably forgotten more than she, I knew everyone that she's forgotten. But anyways, Martha has been instrumental in serving as a medical expert to us. She, in partnership with Dr. Mendoza, our Chief of Infectious Disease, were invaluable throughout this pandemic for our staff, assuring our staff of what was safe, what was not safe, how we deal with patients, and most importantly, as been mentioned, she served as a spokesman for our hospital and also as an educator across the state, as she was countlessly interviewed both in the print media and also on television. And let me go around the table here. Peg Gagne. Peg, please stand up. So Peg has been around Wentworth-Douglass for a long time. I won't say how long, but I did ask her tonight how long she's been there. Peg was instrumental in terms of helping us set up the nurse triage line early in the pandemic. She also led our vaccination program. When the vaccines started coming out, she assembled a team and took on that very important task to begin to vaccinate our staff and to vulnerable patients, and she's led that effort. And I think there are probably like 6 or 7 other 100 things that Peg did during this pandemic. And finally, Kayla Fitzgerald. So Kayla is the clinical director of our intensive care unit, and Kayla has only been with us since October. But she had the unfortunate position of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And as the third wave of COVID hit in December, which was for us the most impactful, where we had 50 patients in the organization, very, very sick patients that were overwhelming our intensive care unit. Kayla, under her leadership in partnership with other clinical leaders, repurposed space in our recovery room to accommodate the additional patients which would no longer fit in our ICU. So we threw her in, with very little training and background, then she joined the team. So those are just a few examples of how people have stepped up during this pandemic, and I'm just incredibly proud. And I look around this room, and again, it takes a community. And can I have people here that have a connection to Wentworth please stand up? Those that work or worked at Wentworth, like Noreen, board members, current board members, former board members. I think you'll get a visual picture of how well we're connected to the community and how that really makes a difference. So please stand up. So on behalf of the board and the 3,500 employees of Wentworth-Douglass Hospital, thank you so much.
Okay. I would imagine every person in this room has been touched at some point in time by Wentworth-Douglass Hospital. I was born there some 46 years ago. My children were born there, and last June, in the midst of all of this craziness, my daughter gave birth to our first granddaughter there at Wentworth-Douglass Hospital. So thank you for all you do. So ladies and gentlemen, that does it for our 2022 Awards Gala. Congratulations, and a nice round of applause once again for all of our award winners. On behalf of the Greater Dover Chamber of Commerce, thank you again to our generous sponsors who made this such a wonderful evening. We thank you all for being here this evening. Drive safely on your way homes. Good evening.